Hello everyone, this is Takuro Fujita at the National Institute of Technology, Fukui College, Japan. In this video, we are going to talk about learners' use of machine translation during the collaborative writing task. Machine translation has been developing dramatically since the 2010s, and they have been widely available on the internet. However, one of the problems many English teachers face is how to deal with machine translation in language teaching. Researchers have been interested in the use of machine translation too, and they have studied its influence on language learning. However, little is known about how the learners work on tasks with machine translation. Based on the background, we conducted a case study and examined how learners utilize machine translation during collaborative writing tasks. We set up 4 research questions. Number 1, how frequently do the learners use machine translation? Number 2, what do the learners search with machine translation? Number 3, what is the process of learners' use of machine translation? Number 4, to what extent do differences in the use of machine translation relate to differences in the perception and products of tasks? This study was conducted at the National Institute of Technology, (COSEM). COSEM is a kind of higher education institution. Its aim is to foster engineers. There are 5 departments, and we conducted the research in the intact classes at the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering and Chemistry and Biology. The participants were 4 second grade students. All of them were 17 years old at the time of the study. Their English proficiency was regarded as A1 or A2 level on TEFL according to MEX 2018. The tasks used in this study were collaborative writing tasks. The goal was to complete a report on scientific experiments. They were required to write a report in pairs. During the writing, they could use various resources such as dictionaries, worksheets, smartphones, and machine translations. They were given 4 pictures of the experimental procedures, and they could put them on the worksheet to save time for drawing figures on the report. Next, I will talk about the research design. The classes are conducted over 2 days. In each lesson, the learners carried out 2 pre-tasks, a matching task and a jigsaw task, to activate their schema and introduce some vocabularies. Then they worked on a collaborative writing task. After that, they were given a model report and compared the model with their writings. To answer the research questions, we collected 3 kinds of data. These are video and audio recordings of tasks, task products, and learning journals. We recorded the learners' interactions during writing. The task products were also collected and used as data. The learners wrote the learning journals and reported their perception of the task at the end of each lesson. They were collected and used as data too. To answer research question 1, we counted the number of language-related episodes in the interactions. LREs are further divided into LREs with MT and LREs without MT. To answer research question 2, we observed the learners' interactions and coded the use of machine translation as words, phrases, clauses and sentences, and paragraphs. To answer research question 3, we read the transcripts and conducted a thematic analysis to investigate the process of the learners' use of machine translation. To answer research question 4, the learning journals and task products were analyzed qualitatively. Next, we'll talk about the main point of the results. For research question 1, the results showed that about half of the LREs were LREs with machine translation, both in pair C and pair E. For research question 2, the results revealed that pair C mainly searched clauses and sentences. They accounted for 58%. On the other hand, pair E mainly searched words and phrases. They accounted for 54%. As for research question 3, a thematic analysis revealed that the use of machine translation can be categorized by the timing of using machine translations. For example, if the learners use machine translation as soon as they notice linguistic forms, it was coded as MT-generated LREs. If the learners use machine translation during the discussion on the noticed linguistic forms, it was coded as MT within LREs. Moreover, the use of machine translation was categorized by whether they critically discussed the output of machine translation. If they discussed the output, it was coded as evaluation. If they didn't discuss the output, it was coded as no evaluation. Table 1 showed the use of machine translation in pair C. It was demonstrated that pair C mainly produced empty generated LREs with evaluation. This means they use machine translation as soon as they notice linguistic problems and discuss machine translation output. Detailed analysis of their interaction revealed they discussed whether they accept machine translation output. They also explored alternative linguistic choices and L1 search phrases for machine translation. Table 2 shows the use of machine translation in pair E. It was demonstrated that pair E equally produced empty generated LREs and empty within LREs. It also showed that in many cases, pair E discussed the machine translation output in empty within LREs. Detailed analysis of their interaction showed that they explored alternative linguistic choices when they evaluated the output. They also used machine translation for confirmation check of the hypothesis in production. As for research question 4, we analyzed learning journals and task products qualitatively. It showed that the learners in pair C felt difficulty when they worked on the tasks. In contrast, one of the learners in pair E felt enjoyment during the tasks. This is a report of pair C. The learners wrote the red part using machine translation. This indicates that they wrote most of the sentences based on machine translation. This is a report of pair E. You can see that they produced less than half of the sentences based on machine translation. In summary, this study showed that the learners conducted the tasks differently with machine translation. Pair C mainly searched clauses and sentences, produced most of the sentences using machine translation, but felt difficulty in tasks. On the other hand, pair E mainly searched words, wrote more than half of the sentences without machine translation, and felt enjoyment during the tasks. Moreover, the learners' use of machine translation varied according to the timing and whether they critically analyzed machine translation output. Pair C had empty generated LREs with evaluation, and pair E had empty within LREs with evaluation. In both cases, focus on form was seen during the tasks. In other words, they had some chances to learn linguistic forms in meaningful tasks, although they used machine translation. In conclusion, we'd like to say that it's essential to examine the process of using machine translation to explore how it contributes to language learning. That's all. Thank you for listening.